Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to tell you guys about my labor and delivery story. At the end of the video I'll also reveal the baby's gender. I know a lot of my close friends and family already know the gender, so if you're watching this video, please do not spoil it for my YouTube family. Please do not. But yeah, I just wanted to share that moment with you guys and tell you guys about my testimony. This is really a testimony. I had my baby on April 11th, 2020. That was a Saturday. It started as a normal Saturday. Now, prior to that, I had been trying to induce labor because at this point, if you've ever been pregnant before, you know that once you reach, well, at least for me, and I know for many other pregnant women that I know, once they've reached a certain, sorry guys, I have to powder this down just because it's super hot in here, but once they've reached a certain stage in their pregnancy, you're just your body's well, you're over it. Of course your body's still baking and you obviously want your baby to come, to term, when it's 37 weeks. 37 weeks is term basically, so you want the baby to come on, once you're 37 or after that, to have a healthy baby. But prior to that, you can still have a healthy baby because it happens. I mean, there's a lot of cases where kids or babies are born way before then and they're still very healthy, so that happens. But long story short, you are tired, and I was tired because this pregnancy has been by far, or was by far, the most challenging pregnancies I've ever experienced. It was draining mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I just wasn't myself. So, but yeah, with that being said, I was trying to induce my labor, and so at 32 weeks, when I was 32 weeks actually pregnant, I had my checkup and I was already 1 centimeter dilated. And so at that time, my OBGYN, she just gave me a shot. Actually, I had a steroid shot, which I will talk all about it in another video. That was, you guys, so I had that just in case the baby decided to come earlier than 37 weeks. The lungs will still be strong and the baby will still be able to breathe by themselves by the time they got here. So that was that. Here we are, 38 weeks and 3 days, I was still pregnant. And that very day I was like, okay, I'm over it. I asked my husband to give me the birthing ball. I also asked him to give me the evening primrose oil. And what else? Yeah, I had pineapple at home. Prior to that, I had been feeling my baby move, which my baby is was very active in my stomach, and that was something that I was very much in tune with. I knew the kind of movements my baby would make at a certain time. So around 3, 4, I was not feeling any movements, and so I drank cold water. Nothing. So that was a red flag, because once I drink something cold, this baby will move. Some way, somehow, this baby will move. I drank cold water, baby did not move. I drank cold juice, baby did not move. And at this point, I'm walking around, and the more I'm walking, the more pain I'm feeling in my pelvic area and pubic area and everything. So I was like, okay, something is going on. I'm not having movements. I'm drinking all this liquids and baby's still not moving. I'm trying to at this point bounce on the bouncing ball, birthing ball, whatever. Nothing, still nothing. The baby's not moving. So around 6:30, I was like, okay, I need to go to the hospital. So at this point, I called the hospital. I haven't been feeling my baby move, and I'm 38 weeks pregnant, and I need to come. Yeah, so at this point the lady was like, yeah, definitely come on. If you haven't been feeling your baby for that long, you definitely should be here already. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming. But before I come though, how many cases of Rona do you guys have in your hospital? Because at this point, I'm trying to be safe. I want my baby to be safe and everything. And she was just like, you know what, we actually cannot tell you. We're not allowed to discuss that. I thought she would be able to tell me, but I guess not. But I also just wanted to be cautious, but I knew that God had me no matter what. Like, I had been praying ever since I found out, these cases were going up and everything like that. And I just knew that, I had been praying since the beginning of my pregnancy, even. Like, I would have a smooth labor and delivery, and everything would be fine. And this was my first time ever going to this hospital. The reviews were not the best. Let's just say that the reviews were not the best for some reason, which is crazy because I had been praying. Once I found out that's the hospital I was going to give birth at, I was praying and just asking God that everyone that comes in contact with me would have the Holy Spirit somehow, somewhere. I know God answered my prayers, because when I got there, it was nothing like the reviews I had read. So once she told me to come on, I went ahead and took a shower. Everything was ready, the baby's bag was ready and all of that. So I asked my husband to drop me, because I was just thinking, okay, worst case scenario, because my contractions were not really picking up. They were not super painful to where I couldn't talk through them. Yes, I was having contractions, but they were far apart, about 10 to 15 minutes apart. So I was just like, they would check me and maybe I'll just go back home. And at this point, the kids, I didn't want to drive, just in case, so I had my husband take me there. So once I got there, they obviously checked if I had a fever. They asked me all these questions, which it was all no. So they started monitoring the baby's heartbeat. Right away, she had a heartbeat and it was 160. So when she told me like she had a heartbeat, it was 160, I was like, ooh, I felt relieved. And then she was like, sometimes kids are just stubborn. They don't want to move, or they don't want to they don't want to move right away or something like that. I was just like, nah, I know my baby. I know this baby once I eat, like especially when I eat. If I eat anything, I drink anything, this baby will move. And even sometimes when I will poke, even if I felt pressure on one side, I will poke on that side, the baby will move to the other side. So I did all that and nothing was working. So I was like, nah, it's not stubborn. They also gave me a big bottle of water filled with ice. So they gave me like a little remote thing. I don't know if it's a remote, but it's something like I would press if I ever felt the baby move. And so they gave me that, and they were monitoring. At this point, they had been monitoring me for about 30 minutes or so, and there was still no movement. And I drank a lot of water, and then about 45 minutes later, I had one kick. And so she was like, okay, we're definitely gonna keep you because you are having contractions. And at this point, I was feeling the contractions coming a little bit more. They were starting to get a little bit more painful, but not too painful to where I still couldn't talk through them. And I forgot to mention, when I got there, she checked me and I was at 1 centimeter dilated still. The ultrasound tech came in, she was checking, trying to get the baby to move, nothing. Like, she checked for about almost an hour, nothing was coming up. And they were talking normally, but I could see they were a little bit worried. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm not trying to be worried right now, I'm just trying to pray. Like, I'm just really trying to pray. And so she told, they had some code words that they were talking amongst themselves. I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know what it meant, but I was just asked, every now and again, like, is the baby okay? She said, yeah, the heartbeat is fine. And one thing is, I couldn't lay on my right side. If I laid on my right side, the baby's heartbeat would drop. If I laid on my left side, the baby's heartbeat was okay, but they were still not getting any movement. And so by this time I had already finished my cup of water and or bottle of water rather. And so I was having contractions. It got to a point where it was very uncomfortable for me to even just stay, like, to just lay down for the ultrasound tech to go over my stomach to check on the baby, if that makes sense. It was getting uncomfortable because the contractions were becoming more and more painful. Let me go check on my baby real quick. I'll be right back. my water broke while she was doing all that. And before that, the nurse had checked me. I was already 3 centimeters dilated because my contractions were really just picking up at this point. And so my water broke, and after my water broke, the contractions picked up like crazy. Before then, I was like, yeah, I didn't want the epidural, but once my water broke, I was like, you know what, I want the epidural, please. Like, I need the epidural. And at this point, my husband is still not there, and I was like trying to call him. He had the kids, but I had told him, like, I texted him to come on, and this was before my water broke, because I told him like they will keep me in the hospital, so he needed to come and bring, you know, the bag just in case. And so he saw that, but this was before my water broke, so he didn't know that my water had already broken. Things were actually moving fast. He wasn't there. I was there by myself, well, with the nurses. And I thank God again for those nurses. They were so sweet, because I was holding her. And then at one point she was like, you know what, I actually bruised very easily, just, you know, I don't mind you holding my scrub. I was like, I'm so sorry, but you guys, I was in so much pain. But once she gave me the epidural, about 3 to 5 minutes later, started knocking my bottom parts out. I couldn't, you know, feel much, but I was still feeling the contractions, but they were not like, you know, it wasn't as bad compared to Zoe. Once I had the epidural was in it, I couldn't feel anything at all. But this time I was able to still feel a little bit of contractions, but it was not bad at all. It's something I could totally manage. They were thinking once they gave me the epidural, it would slow down my contractions, but the contractions were coming back to back, literally not even a minute apart at this point. And so the more it did that, the more it put my baby in distress even more. And so at this point, they told me that the baby had already pooped in the tummy, and the baby swallowed the poop, and the baby was in distress. And so they told me that. So once they told me that, I knew that it was not good, because with this pregnancy, like I said, it was very hard for me. So I was Googling a lot of things. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. So I had come across all these videos where, you know, a lot of ladies, you know, had this issue where their babies pooped in their tummy and didn't make it. So at this point, I called my mother-in-law. I told her, and we just started praying. I didn't feel like, oh, hope was lost or something like that. Like, I trusted that God will come through. And this was the Saturday before Easter, and I was just like, yeah, God is definitely gonna do something. And so we were praying. I started praying for all the nurses. I started praying for the doctor that was going to, you know, deliver my baby. I was praying for the hospital. Every girl, I was praying, and my mother-in-law was also praying on the line. And you know, so at this point, again, my contractions were back to back, so they gave me an injection to slow down the contractions. So at this point, my husband had already reached there, and around 11:30, it was like they checked me. I was already 9 centimeters, almost 10 centimeters dilated. They called a doctor. Before you know it, it was, you know, time for me to push. And I started pushing. It's crazy, because the first time I was pushing, like, I could feel, but not all the way, like, if that makes sense. Like, I was numb, but not all the way numb, so I could still feel how I was pushing, but it was just weird. I pushed about 3 times. I guess the baby was still trying to come, and the 4th time I was just like, God, please, I need you to do something. I need to push. And of course, you guys know, you know, during this time of crisis, you actually, if you give birth during this time, you know that you have to wear a mask when you're pushing. So I was wearing a mask, and they also gave me oxygen, just to make sure I would not lack oxygen when I'm trying to push. So that oxygen really did help a lot. And I was also, like I said, wearing mask, or, you know, wearing that face mask to push. And so I was just pushing. The 4th time I pushed, I was like, yeah, you know, well, I wasn't, but the nurses and the doctor were like, you did so good, yeah, go ahead and push again. And my husband's like, yeah, the head is there. So when I pushed the head out, they saw that the umbilical cord was wrapped around my baby's neck, so that's what put my baby in distress. And so I pushed the baby came out. I could not hold my baby, so the NICU department was there, you know, to just take the baby just in case. So they took the baby. Well, they didn't take the baby away from the room. They were still in the room, but they just make sure to take all the meconium, or the poop, out of the baby's system. They were taking out of the nose, out of, you know, like the lungs, just making sure that they were removing everything. And then 10 minutes later, I just heard I was like, oh my god, it was the littlest cry. I don't even know if it was cry, what it was, but I guess it was just a way for my baby to tell me like, mommy, I'm okay, like don't even worry. Because I was just looking over there the whole time. I don't even know when I delivered my placenta. I don't even know what happened, but I didn't tear. That's all I heard. The doctor was like, you didn't tear, you did so well. Like I was not even there. My mind was just where my baby was at this point. And so they were just like removing all those things out of my baby's lungs and nose, and they just showed me the baby. I took a picture, and that was it. They took my baby to the NICU, and I was able to see my baby the next day. I was just praying, just asking God to see my baby through. The nurse practitioner came in later on around like 2 a.m. in the morning. She was just explaining to me that if I don't hear from her, that means the baby is doing really good. They had to put like some type of like oxygen on the baby. I think it's called like CPAP or something like that, to just help the baby breathe a little better. So my baby stayed in the NICU for 2 days, and then on the 3rd day we were released from the hospital. And I'm just here to give God glory once again, and I am a proud mama of a little boy. Alright guys, so that was my labor and delivery story slash testimony slash gender reveal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot more videos are coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please join the family, subscribe, it's free. And let me know what kind of videos you would like to see in my upcoming videos. Any requests that you have, I would deliver. And yeah, thank you again so much for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. God bless. Bye.